this is the best time to be an investor.
Why don't you give me what your biggest takeaway was from the weekend?
It was my first Ignite. I had an absolute blast there. And a common theme that I heard of tons of people talking about the entire time, the thought that Warren Buffett really brought to everyone's attention: be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. Seeing so many people that we hear about, all this national news of markets being all over the place, but just realizing that from the investor standpoint, this is the best time to be an investor. You're getting these discounts all over the place. So that was really cool to hear. And then secondly, I got to sit in on one of the Force Builders representatives, Paul Shively's presentation there, which where he really got an opportunity to 5x his portfolio, actually JWB portfolio, over 8 years by really truly understanding and focusing on the growth component to it. So many people are so focused on just one of the profit centers being cash flow, where 2/3 of his portfolio gains came from the other profit centers that are just working in the background, which is really, really cool, really, really powerful. And the real reason he was able to 5x his entire portfolio in such a short amount of time.
I remember sitting with you during that presentation. We're both looking at each other like, dude, this is gold for our community. Paul, the talk was how to 5x your rental property portfolio. And he basically went through a case study where by not focusing on cash flow, by focusing on a growth market, was it his father-in-law or his dad? It was his dad, right?
Yeah, so it was his dad. And that was probably the most powerful part of the entire presentation. Obviously, 5X in your portfolio is really great, but just the emotional connection that he had to it. I remember him saying something: the better clarity of your why, the better clarity of your action. And his why was just so powerful. His father wound up losing just about everything he had in his retirement savings during the Great Recession, being heavily invested in just stock markets, and the S&P, which is the safest place to be, supposedly, came crashing down on him and really was starting all over again. And so Paul took that opportunity to build that real estate portfolio for his father and really take every single step and action with that in mind. So really having that why in front of you and making sure that it's clear and concise and something that you can continuously just keep in the front of your mind really made the difference for him. So I thought that was amazing too.
Love that, man. You told me a story that really warmed my heart about before you worked for JWB, kind of like listening to this show and then walking in and seeing the studio. You want to kind of like let everybody know about that?
No, it's worth it. It's worth it. So yeah, before I actually joined JWB, I was watching the show for probably about 6 months or so beforehand, but it was almost a dream come true coming into this office. I had no idea that the podcast room was where it was. And I remember passing by and I was looking over, I felt like I was completely starstruck because like, that's where the magic happens, right in there. Finally, after a few weeks of just looking at it as I walked past, I took the initiative to actually stand in there and feel that vibe. And it was really cool. It was amazing. It was a surreal moment for me. But yeah, I've been a big fan of the show for a long time and love the opportunity that we got to have Pablo hanging out this weekend and really getting to know each other a little bit better. And it was just such a great time. It really was.
Likewise, bud.